have its laws. Um, so right now, Garden City has adopted some of Evans's code
Oh, I see.
because we didn't have ones of our own.
I see.
Now our lawyers working on that.
Oh, I gotcha.
Yeah.
So, okay, so it is common knowledge that Colorado revised statutes are uniform commercial code.
Yes.
Oh, wow. See, you try to find that online, and it's really tough to find that knowledge.
Yeah, sometimes it's hard to understand too.
Yeah, well, that's...
They could word it differently than how we're talking about it.
Yeah, I think codes are meant to be hard to understand.
Yeah, I agree.
Because, the dollar has no value, and it's hard to understand how Americans can be trading instruments of debt to buy stuff. I mean, that's hard to understand.
Right.
And the banks counterfeit it, so, what I've been learning is that, to make it easier to deal with, they make codes, and then when they try to enforce these codes, and if people want to prove them wrong, then they have to go to court, spend all this money, time, and effort, to come to the truth, which I think is actually, it even admits that in its own code, that it's a presumption of law, which means that it's law without evidence of it being a law. But the presumption stands until there's evidence to prove that it's wrong. Just like the dollar. I mean, it's a fake piece of paper. It's an instrument of debt, just like your utility bill. The dollar bill, the utility bill. You get a bill saying you owe a certain amount, and so it's a bill, you got to pay a certain amount. Just like the dollar bill, it came from the Federal Reserve, it was borrowed, so that means that there's $1, it's a $1 bill. It means $1 has to be paid back. Now, how can we be trading bills? I mean, that's hard to understand, just like the laws of commerce, Uniform Commercial Code, I really appreciate you spending time to listen to me.
Oh, that's okay.
I hope you're understanding what I'm saying here. I mean,
Yeah.
I know it's hard to figure out.
Yeah, it is. It is very hard.
Yeah.
But no, I appreciate it.
Well,
I appreciate where you're coming from.
yeah, I appreciate you too, Hope. I really do. It's hard. I try calling government, and a lot of times they get really resistant. It's almost like I've noticed that they don't like, a lot of government doesn't like the light. When they start being recorded, or when they start having questions asked them, then they start, acting funny.
Well, I mean, you can't blame a person when somebody comes in with a camera and,
Yeah.
they don't know what you're going to do with it.
Yeah, I understand. It is a little uncomfortable. But also a court, when you go into court, the same thing happens in court. The judge can pretty much say whatever he wants until you enter it into a court of record. Yeah, I don't understand all the terms and stuff, but once the court begins to be recorded and it's entered in as fact, that means that you know what the person said. Then they start acting straight. Where before it was like they weren't under the lights, so they act any way they want to act. So then, to my understanding, that's when you enter into common law, which means common sense. I mean, codes is a mystery, but common law is common sense. So whenever you start recording stuff, then it becomes common sense. Just like officers, when they're, they think they own the place and they start, usurping their authority over people, and then when they realize they're being recorded, then they start acting different. It's like they don't like the light. They don't like for people to see what they're doing behind the scenes. They don't like people to see how they're conducting business.
Right.
You're
right.
So it is common knowledge that the revised statutes are Uniform Commercial Code.
Yes.
Is driving fall under Uniform Commercial Code?
I don't know that.
And licensing?
Let me find out just a second.
Okay, thank you.
Uh-huh. Okay, yes it is.
It does regulate driving. I can't remember the question I asked.
Okay,
Does
I thought I was up on you.
driving and licensing fall under Uniform Commercial Code? So if it does follow under Commercial Code, then isn't it a business transaction then? Driving and licensing, isn't that business transactions?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of weird, huh? Wow. See, now here's my understanding is that Uniform Commercial Code it regulates commerce.
Right.
So when you get a license or a driver's license, it's an act of commerce. It's what I believe is that it's a contract. The driver's license is a contract. And basically what you're doing is you're entering into a business, you're entering into Uniform Commercial Code when you sign that contract. The undisclosed details of that contract are that you're giving up your right to travel. And then you're hiring the corporation or the government to take care of you. And so they tax you, like we were talking about earlier, they enforce codes upon you so that way they can keep all those other people who signed the contract safe. And it's really a system of business and has nothing to do with the freedom of a nation.
Well, and that's a matter of opinion too. I mean, they make these rules and laws, to protect individuals.
Yeah. Well, Thomas Jefferson said, "I see future happiness for Americans if they can keep the government from wasting the labors of the people in the pretense of taking care of them." So government was never designed to take care of us. We were designed to be self-reliant, self-sufficient, liable for our own actions, and we were meant to be men, liable for our own decisions. But what's happened is we're a bunch of children that ask government to take care of us. And that's my opinion.
Right.
And I believe that our forefathers understood that. I believe that's, the system that they broke away from when they broke away from England. And I know one thing about our colonies is that when our country began is King George III sent men over here to enforce his laws upon the colonies, and King George's men came back to him saying, "We can't enforce your laws because they're all lawyers over there." The colonies were smart people.
Right.
Now we're a bunch of slaves that that are being taken advantage of because we don't know nothing. So,
Yeah.
Okay, well, Hope, I'm gonna let you go.
Okay.
And I'm so thankful that you talk with me, and I appreciate the information that you give me.
Okay. Yeah, that's not a problem.
Okay, well, I hope you have a great day, Hope.
Okay, you too.
Okay, bye-bye.